Hello and welcome to this month's Charlie Mike Training Series 2023, hosted by the National Veteran Small Business Coalition. My name is Marie Mishker and I'll be your MC and host for this month's training session. But before I introduce our speaker, I would like to share a few announcements and updates with you. First is a shout out to our sponsors, BAE Systems and Bank of America. They are proud sponsors of the 2023 Charlie Mike Training Series and are generous and thoughtful supporters of the NVSBC and the GovCon community at large. I highly encourage you to seek them out at GovCon conferences and events and learn about the programs that they offer. Also, thank them for supporting the Charlie Mike Training Series. For those of you who may be dialing in for the first time, a little bit of information about the NVSBC. The NVSBC has 15 programs and services. I highly recommend that you go to our website and check that out. But you'll see that there are three pillar offerings that we have. One focuses on training. We develop the knowledge base and skills veteran business owners need to function as successful federal contractors and subcontractors, as well as networking. We have several networking events around the United States where we're connecting veteran entrepreneurs with business opportunities that they need in order to be successful in the federal government marketplace, as well as advocacy. We promote policies and acquisition strategies that further the participation of veteran-owned small businesses in the federal contracting and subcontracting realms. So please go to our website and check out the various events and also our training programs and conferences. And with that, I want to highlight our premier event. It's the Vets 24 conference. It's going to be held in Orlando, Florida this year, May 20th through 23rd. And we are at a new venue. So we have a new location. We're going to be at the Rosen Center. It's a 4-star conference facility and hotel in Orlando. It is going to have 50,000 square feet of exhibit space. So it's 3 times larger than the Vets 23 conference. So make sure you bring your great walking shoes because there'll be a lot of steps you'll be getting in. It's also going to be twice the size of the Vets 23 conference. So anticipated attendance is around 2,000. So again, remember last year the event sold out. Highly recommend that you register early. Would love to see you there. The other thing I want to call out are a few upcoming events, 2024 networking events and lunches. So we're going to have an event at Tampa and our DC area, as well as Hampton Roads, Huntsville, and then also San Diego. And then another shout out for the Veteran Access to Capital Symposium, which is going to be at the George Mason University in Arlington, Virginia. So that's going to be a hybrid event. That'll be both in person and virtual. More information on that coming. So please, again, check out the website. Lots of great information there for you. And so for those of you who don't know me, my name again is Marie Mishker, and I am the Director of Training at the National Veteran Small Business Coalition. It is my extreme pleasure to be here hosting the series, and I look forward to future training sessions. And now I would like to introduce our speaker, QC Jones, Managing Partner of NolanMackenzie. His topic today will be on market research, the difference between being proactive versus reactive in the GovCon. A few things that I'd like to call out regarding QC. First, he is a veteran and has served in the Army, in Desert Shield and Desert Storm, and has a true passion about programs in support of our nation's warfighters and veterans by delivering services to meet their needs. Second, his experience and knowledge. A few things to really call out here. He has led 3 successful government contracting companies. He appreciates the challenges and of entrepreneurship, and with that in mind, he mentors and assists many CEOs. His mantra for business is based on the continuous pursuit of effective partnerships with like-minded business leaders, and his philosophy has led to an exceptional record of winning single award contracts, IDIQs, and GWACs. And much of QC's experience has been in the health and human services domains in fulfillment of their mission-critical programs. Third is his willingness to share information, his tips and tricks, so to speak. The NVSBC received information about QC, and we wanted all of you to be aware of his, not only of his services, but his pearls of wisdom that he's going to be sharing with us today. And so I'm so looking forward, QC, to hearing about all of the little pearls and golden nuggets that you're going to provide us today. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to you.
My name is QC Jones, and I'm managing partner at NolanMackenzie. Really excited to be here with you to share knowledge I've gained over the 22 years of experience as a CEO in a government contracting firm. I want to give you a little background about myself. I started my career as a social worker, working for the Illinois Department of Children and Family Services, responsible for reunifying families who had been separated due to allegations of child abuse and neglect. Probably one of the most impactful experiences I've had. I moved to Washington, D.C. and obtained a job here with a major system integrator, rose through the ranks and realized I love government contracting. And the rest was history. I started my first company in 2001. It was an IT contract. So you're probably wondering how in the world a social worker start an IT company. I did have very little experience in IT, but I knew that was the way to go. We were able to grow the company, supporting a number of agencies, performing services such as cybersecurity, enterprise architecture, application development, as well as IT strategy. I created a few joint ventures, one of which was acquired by a large business. I decided to help other companies in 2017. This is when I started NolanMackenzie. Now I have delivered business advisory, training, and market research services to a number of companies in the Washington, D.C. area, as well as to government and nonprofit organizations. Today, I seek to provide you with practical training on market research. My goal is to show how it can make your life easier in supporting your growth efforts. I will also go through some steps for conducting market research. This will involve taking a high view into spending patterns of the federal government. We will walk through an actual scenario where we will identify possible growth opportunities for a small business. Finally, we will have a discussion on steps necessary to focus your pursuit efforts. One of the most wonderful things about operating in the federal government contracting industry is its transparency. You can find just about everything you need to know about a potential customer on the web. For example, from their organizational charts, you can see the people who are in charge. From their spending data, you can have visibility into when contracts are expiring and the amount of those contracts. You can also see prime contractor data, which can give you insights into the programs they have across government, as well as some budgetary information. You can also learn what new programs an agency is planning for the coming year by examining their agency forecast, as well as reviewing their agency budget requests, their strategic plan, as well as other reports. If you use any of the paid market intelligence tool, you have information at your fingertips. The key is not necessarily, or the challenge is not necessarily limited access to information, but it's actually taking the time to collect and analyze that information to guide your company to its customers, opportunities, and partnership that are right for your company. So let's dig in. Again, this will be the flow of our discussion. We will take a look at the value of market research. We will conduct an overview of the spending patterns in the federal marketplace. We will review some of the tools that you can use to conduct market research, and we will leverage this information to show you how to build your pipeline. During this session, we will review government spending at a micro level. That is, we will look at procurement spend across the government. Then we will move into the various agency spending patterns. Then we will examine spending by socioeconomic and major industry categories. I will incorporate, as mentioned before, a practical example which will demonstrate the process for conducting market research. We will review basic tools you can use to facilitate your market research. Finally, we will examine an agency forecast to identify relevant opportunities to populate the pipeline as part of our practical exercise. So the key takeaway or takeaways that you will gain from this training are: one, you will gain insights into researching client needs. Two, you will obtain an overview into some of the various government portals used to facilitate market research. Three, you will leverage publicly available tools to identify upcoming acquisitions and expiring contract opportunity. And finally, you will gain insights into how to conduct analysis on contract spend levels in order to build your pipeline. So with that, let's jump right in. So here, NolanMackenzie, to give you some background on the company, our mission is to navigate success for our clients, our partners, and communities. Our client base includes businesses, nonprofit, as well as educational institutions and government. When I found NolanMackenzie, it was to deliver innovative business advisory and management services that increase organizational performance and energize growth, results, and operational effectiveness. NolanMackenzie brings subject matter expertise from individuals who have been there and done that to help you through some of your most pressing issues. If your organization is facing growth or operational challenge or feeling stagnant in your efforts, we would love to be your partner. So good, this is one of my favorite slides. We all know the activities required to move opportunities through the sales process, right? We identify the opportunity, we connect with market stakeholders, we gather and analyze information to facilitate our capture process and ultimately win the work. The question becomes, how does market research support these activities? As many of you know, there are stages to the sales process. As you can see from the chart here, we have this vast ocean of opportunity that I refer to as possibilities. From those possibilities, you identify leads, you qualify those leads, and of course, pursue those opportunities. We operate in a dynamic marketplace, and market research should be a continuous activity which gives your company the information needed to make good business decisions. The findings gained from your market research provide your business with the market intelligence to move your deals throughout the sales process. For example, if we were in the initial phases of the sales process, conducting market research will enable you to identify the appropriate leads for your company. These leads feed your pipeline, and market research provides you with the information that will help you determine if that lead makes sense for your business based on your capabilities, your competitive advantage, your talent resource pool, your business objectives, as well as your goals. Conducting market research throughout the sales cycle enable you to better qualify leads and move them through your pipeline. At the opportunity phase, you have collect, hopefully, enough information to analyze and make a determination whether your company should bid on a particular opportunity. But market research does not stop there. It should be a continuous process which provides you with the information and market intelligence to position your company to win. So we use market research a lot, right? But what is it? And why is it so important? The line of business we have chosen, federal government contracting, requires it probably more than any other industry. And yes, I may be a little biased with that statement, but for good reason. Government contracting is a highly competitive and a very complicated market. And you need to have a very good understanding of your targeted customer environment. That is, have an understanding of your client's mission, their needs, their contracts, the vendor community within that target market, as well as the spending levels in that market. At a minimum, you need that edge, and that edge is gained through market research. This means getting very smart on the federal procurement market. Who are your customers? What are their programs, their contracts? Who are the program stakeholders? And what are the upcoming initiatives? Having a grasp of this information is paramount to your success. It gives you the market intelligence you will need to be focused in your action. Those actions may be discussions with agency stakeholders, relationships you are building, the events you attend, the organizations that you join, and finally, but certainly not least important, how do you spend and invest your corporate dollars? So we will take a look at the federal marketplace as a whole. Then we will drill down into specific markets. We will look at agencies to learn how they are spending their money on services, products, and by socioeconomic categories. We will examine organizations that may not be meeting their socioeconomic goals, because we may be able to use that as a value proposition for them to work with us if our companies have that socioeconomic classification to help them meet their goals in the future. Okay, so what information are we seeking when conducting market research? We are seeking to gain an understanding of our customer's mission. We are seeking to identify any business pains or challenges that our customers may be facing. We're looking to identify expiring contract opportunities. We're seeking to see any upcoming requirements. We are looking to identify any new initiative, to understand the agency's spending level, and we're trying to get an understanding of how they purchase the products and services we are selling. Now, the basic requirement to conduct effective market research is one, and these are really hard to achieve. No, I'm just kidding. You have to have a strong sense of your core capabilities. That is the experience and past performance your company has, which will lead or generate your corporate growth objectives and goals. I firmly believe that you need to have a clear understanding of your company's capabilities and the services you can successfully deliver to your customer. This information will allow you to implement the best strategies for your company to grow within your target market. For example, if you are equipped with this information, you can mitigate any perceived weaknesses your company may have in advance of the release of an RFP or the submission of your proposal. You can mitigate this possibly through partnerships or other strategies that you may embark upon, which will ultimately make you more successful in this particular endeavor. Market research, the process. Now here, this is where you evaluate federal markets for growth opportunity. This involves gaining an understanding of which agencies best align with your company. This includes running reports of expiring contract opportunities and analyzing that report to select opportunities that are best for your company. It also involves evaluating potential vulnerabilities of incumbents to determine any value proposition you may lend to that opportunity or to that contract officer. For example, if that incumbent is an 8A company and graduating from the program, you'll want to know that information because it can inform how you proceed with that opportunity. Once you have identified a couple agencies that make sense for your company, conduct research to learn more about their plans and their challenges. This information may be obtained from agency budget requests. That's my go-to. This time of the year, I frequently look at agency budget requests to really gain insights into where the agency is planning to spend their dollars in the coming fiscal year. We also look at strategic plan. Also look at Office of the Inspector General. We review their reports and other reports such as OMB, GAO to learn where that agency may be falling short on some of their initiative. We actively seek out to identify points of contacts within our targeted market. We compile that list, not to call immediately, but to create our value proposition for the opportunities which we are seeking, right? Then we develop and conduct our targeted outreach plan. This is the fun time. We are conducting outreach, we are reaching out, we are equipped with an understanding of the agency. We know our pipeline, we have done the research into the agency, we know our market, we have an understanding of our customer needs, right? Now we are conducting the outreach, but we're not generalizing or sending general messages to our targeted customer. We are ensuring that our communication is of a substantive nature, not a general question such as, do you have any contract opportunities, or we are IT management consulting firm and would love to do business with you. Instead, we are asking about specific contract opportunities or offering solutions that our company can deliver to address specific problems or pain that the agency have faced, which we have identified. So what are the characteristics of being proactive versus reactive in GovCon? The title of this training is Market Research, the difference between being proactive and reactive. So what is to be proactive? Proactive, I looked it up. I wanted a formal definition. Proactive is creating or controlling a situation by causing something to happen rather than responding to it after it has already happened. In GovCon, this means taking opportunities to market rather than waiting for an RFP to be released. As I've mentioned earlier, an element of market research is to help you identify challenges within an agency. Once you have identified those challenges that your company can address, a strategy you can take is to develop a white paper to inform that agency that you have a solution to their problem of challenge that they may be experiencing. Obviously, you would have spoken with a point of contact prior to sending that white paper, but we have found this to be an effective way to generate interest in your company. To be reactive is to be ready to react or respond to something. Or in GovCon, this means waiting for an RFP or RFQ to be released and then respond. In government contracting, as with any business, you can't have an absolute 100% proactive strategy. In government contracting, you will react to RFPs and RFQs and other solicitation that you may not have any market intel in or familiarity with. It's just a natural part of doing business. But likewise, you can't be 100% reactive. That is waiting for an RFP to be released to respond to. The goal is to have a balance. In other words, to the extent possible, have a strategy that focuses and targets your customers, contracts, program, potential partnership. This approach will place you in the best position to win. Companies that use proactive strategies have a much better chance of seizing and retaining their work when competing with other companies. And what you see in front of you on this deck just shows some of the characteristics of being proactive. You are deliberate, you're engaging with the market, you are building relationship, you have confidence, and by being proactive, you actually reduce your costs. On the other hand, being reactive, it gives you a sense of being productive. I once had someone that would say, let's not confuse activity with productivity, right? Often being reactive is driven by emotion. We got to do something. Generally, you lack knowledge about a particular deal. You find yourself always playing catch up. You're making decisions quite rapidly. Generally, using a reactive strategy, you are employing low price strategies to gain the work, and you have limited alternatives such as partners that will join you on a particular deal. So this is one of my favorite slides here. So here are some of your proactive activities as well as some of your reactive activities as it relates to government contracting. To be proactive in government contracting is to conduct activities that will position your company for an opportunity prior to a solicitation being released. As mentioned before, it is difficult to have a 100% proactive strategy, but you will need to bid deals that you are not aware of. Likewise, you can't, as mentioned before, have a 100% reactive strategy. In other words, the only deals you are pursuing are those that you find, say, on sam.gov. You got to have opportunities that you are pursuing in advance of a solicitation being released on sam.gov. You and your team have to have a list of deals that you are, quote unquote, working. And the way you obtain those deals is by conducting the necessary market research. So the question becomes, how much time should you focus on your proactive activities versus your reactive activities? And you see the list here: identifying client needs, understanding procurement environment, researching potential partners and competitors, identifying any barriers to entry, engaging with your targeted clients. The reactive activities, as mentioned before, your primary activity is searching bid portals, reviewing competitive solicitation, selecting RFPs that you feel align with your organization, then seeking to team with companies to round out your capability, responding to the RFP and submitting the proposal. As I've said before, both of these are required, but the question becomes, how much time do you spend being proactive versus reactive? And I believe it's very prudent for small businesses, especially those new to government contracting, to spend the majority of their time developing and cultivating their target market. This means, again, gaining an understanding of your client's mission, their needs, their priority, identifying and building relationships within that market, and conducting targeted client outreach regarding specific opportunities. So here we are, the scenario, the practical exercise to sort of facilitate us walking through the process of conducting market research. So for this exercise, I've given the scenario. Your company is an 8A in SDVOSB, specializing in financial management and administrative support services. You have about 5 employees. You are seeking, your goal is to enter into the federal marketplace. Your goal is to become a prime contractor, but you're very open to subcontracting opportunity. Where do you go from here? So what we're going to do is perform some high-level market research based on this scenario. As you can see, this company does not have a lot of experience and knowledge of government contracting, right? The company is small, but it has niche capability. It does financial management and administrative support services. And so the CEO of this company heard there was an abundance of opportunities available within the federal contracting market. So the CEO went out, got certified. Now the CEO is ready for those deals to start rolling in. Over the past year, the CEO has submitted a few proposals to RFPs found on sam.gov. Unfortunately, nothing has become of that. The CEO has submitted a few RFIs and nothing. It seemed like the deal just went into a black hole. Sound familiar? So for the sake of this training, I will start at the macro level. That is, provide some situational knowledge of the federal marketplace. I think it's important for leadership, CEO, senior business development professionals of an organization to have a decent grasp on the overall spending levels within government contracting. The reason for that is, say for example, after your grit, your perseverance, your grind, you land your first contract. However, it's with a small agency with limited growth potential in the area in which your company specializes. It's important for you to know the size of that particular market prior to spending a lot of effort and time on a market with limited budget. And by no means am I saying don't go for that deal, but just know going in that, hey, this particular customer has a limited budget. Therefore, we will do an excellent job, use this work as a past performance, and try to grow as much as possible. But we have to keep our eye on markets that provide us with the level of growth potential within our areas of capability and aligns with our corporate growth goals. So let's dig into this scenario. So at a high level, we want to look at the federal marketplace. It's massive. The federal government spent in 2022, much of these numbers that you see here is based on 2022 figures. The government spent $694 billion on contracts. It's the largest purchaser in the world. The benefit, long-term contract, large contract. It's situational proof, and I'll come back to what I mean by that. It's a stable customer. As mentioned before, it's highly competitive in a complex market. You see the top 9 spending organizations here, along with the Department of Defense, their spending levels. So situational proof means not a whole lot affect government spending unless they're a shutdown. But short of that, the government is a highly stable customer. So at first glance, being this company that we are using in this scenario, at first glance, this make you feel fairly good as the CEO of this company of your potential of doing business with the government. But as an 8A and service disabled veteran owned small business, how is the government doing in this area? So we will take a look at the small business market. So as the CEO of this financial management and admin support company, we Googled SBA small business goaling performance and found that 2022 was a record-breaking year with over $163 billion in federal procurement opportunity going to small businesses. The government exceeded its small business goaling of 23%, earning an all-time high of 26.5%, surpassed its goal of 11% for SDBs, surpassed its goal for SDVOSB of 3%, achieving 4.6%, equaling $28.1 billion in government procurement. It broke records in the hub zone area, awarding $16.3 billion. Women owned, we fell a little short, but 4.6% is nothing to sneeze at. Small business subcontracting goal was at approximately 31%. So again, all systems seems to be a go, and it seems like now is a good time to be a government contracting company, but we need to dig a bit deeper. So in federal spending for 2022, now we will take a look at spending across top agency for their products and services among small and other than small companies. So here you see Homeland Security, Energy, GSA, HHS, NASA, Treasury, State, USDA, and VA. You see the numbers as it relates to the products sold, as well as the services sold to both small as well as non-small companies. You also see these numbers for the defense sector. Significant numbers. HHS, I have an affinity to. I always want to pay close attention to HHS. You see their spending goal for small business, almost $9 billion. For other than small, it's almost $30 billion. And that means something, because keep in mind, this company is not only looking to be a prime contractor contractor, but they are also looking at subcontracting opportunity, and both these numbers are meaningful to that end goal. So we're going to go a bit further. We want to see, are there any gaps within the federal government that we may exploit as it relates to their ability to achieve their goals? And again, goals are just one component of your targeted or pursuit efforts. And so looking at the agencies that we have found to see where there may be gaps, where there may be opportunities for us to, again, take advantage of, we look at the goaling for these organizations. The Department of Education, we see their goal for 2022 was 3% in SDVOSB and HubZone. They fell a little short of that, as well as the Department of Energy, as well as the Department of Health and Human Services. As it relates to subcontracting achievement, we see that the Department of Justice could probably use a few more SDVOSBs and HubZone within their portfolio mix, as well as the Department of State. These are their subcontracting totals. So if I am a SDVOSB, a HubZone, a SDB, I want to know this information because it becomes a part of my value proposition. If I have an opportunity to engage with, say, the small business officer within these agencies, I'm not only discussing the capabilities that my company present, but if I'm an SDVOSB or in A2A, I also want that to be a part of my value proposition to that small business officer. So with analyzing the prime contractors who are doing financial management and admin services within these agencies, analyzing them to see which are underperforming with their subcontracting goal may be another value proposition that you can bring to these large businesses, because as we know, they are required to have subcontracting plans if above a certain dollar threshold. So all of this information was taken from the SBA Interactive Goaling website. So again, this is another tool in our market research tool belt, if I may, when we're engaging within these particular markets right here. So now I want to look at spend performance across capability area: information technology, professional service, construction, and training. As you can see, I did a high-level view into the total market, then segmented that spend by socioeconomic designation. And as you can see here, these are the next codes that we use for this particular exercise. So we see what the spending is among the various socioeconomic designation. Everything looks good. Professional services, because this company that we are using in this scenario is a financial management and admin support organization. This is where we will really begin to laser in. But if I was a construction company, I would be looking at the construction line to see, what the spend level among the socioeconomic designations are. As well, if I was doing training, I would want to know what kind of spend for each of these socioeconomic designations are. But now I need to know by agency. Okay, so so now I'm taking a deeper look into spend by agency, but also by socioeconomic classification. So for information technology, we see the small business spend here, DISA, Defense Information System Agency, CMS. We see the spending level for information technology at Air Force, Army, Navy, professional services. Again, we see that Army does a lot of spend there. CMS is another big spender. If I was in construction, I would want to know which agency, what their spending level for small business is, as well as for training. We see that Department of Labor is leading in this particular area. And we go through this process for each of these socioeconomic designations. Here, the top agency for information technology, Army, followed by CMS. I'll say that again, the top agency for 8A spend for information technology is Army, then CMS, then Air Force, then USDA, then state. Same thing with professional services, Army, Defense Health Agency, IRS, Navy, CDC. We're trying to get an idea of just where the money is going regarding the major industry sectors as an 8A company. And we do the same thing with SDVOSB. We know the winner. That would be the Department of Veteran Affairs, followed by CBP, USDA, CMS. Information for our pursuit strategy. Same thing for women owned. We're getting a view of where the spend is holistically. Now, again, HubZone as well, excuse me. And so the tools that we use to conduct this market research, my go-to is really USA Spend. You can do so much with it. It's user-friendly, and we will talk a bit more about it as later on in this presentation. SAM.gov has a great tool. Agency Forecast is one which you can gain what the agency is planning to do. Again, USA Spend provide what the agency has done. The agency forecast speaks to what the agency plans are. I use dynamic small business search quite a bit. It's very useful in gaining the status of small businesses, whether they're expiring in their A to A. You can also query for organizations that may have particular capabilities that you are looking for. Identify those organizations. You can also do it by agencies, by company size. And finally, we have the SBA Hub, which is a newly implemented portal, as well as the GSA GWAC dashboard. On the opposite side here, we have additional market research tools that I frequently use. As mentioned, you can get a lot of good intel out of agency OIG report, that's Office of Inspector General, as well as from the Office of Management and Budget. Get a good report on agency performance in various areas from this report. My go-to is the agency budget requests. Agencies tend to put what their plans are. While they may not be concrete, it does give you an idea of what the agency is planning for the upcoming fiscal year. The organizational charts provide you with a wealth of information of leaders within the organization. You can identify who may be overseeing an office where you may have an interest. Attending industry events, it's a great way to conduct market research. Oftentimes, agency stakeholders speak at these events. It's a great opportunity for you to meet them and hear firsthand what are some of their plans, challenges, or pains that they are experiencing within their agency. And finally, paid market intelligence tool. Goes without saying, they make life a little more easy when looking for information. So just to take a bit of a deeper dive into these tools. Again, usaspend.gov is my go-to. It's a highly effective tool for analyzing expiring contracts, gaining agency spend patterns, analyzing prime contractors and where they may operate within the, or have business within the federal government. You can analyze contracts by set aside NAICS codes, as well as products or service code, PSC codes. You can build your pipeline simply by querying this portal, identifying 8A contracts that are, identifying contracts that may be in alignment with your with your company's capabilities. SAM.gov, their data bank system, which is their contract portal. It's good, but from my perspective, it's a little less efficient than the USA Spend. You can get good static reports. If you spend some time, you can learn how to conduct their ad hoc reporting, get a lot of information. One of the benefits of the data bank system is you can get contract officer information. Can query this portal for contract officer information regarding specific opportunities. So that's a huge benefit with this particular portal. The agency forecasting tool. All agency forecasts are not created equal. We rely very heavily on the agency's business forecast because, again, these tools and the ones that you see on your screen here are some of the better acquisition or forecasting tools that I have used. They provide you with where the agency is going, what they plan to procure in the coming fiscal year. Forecasts of contract opportunities are generally updated annually, but some agencies update them even more frequently than that. They are supposed to be available in October, and so querying these forecast portals is a great way to identify those contract opportunities that align with your organization, which the government is planning for in the coming fiscal year. The Small Business Hub. I really just discovered this tool and I've been using it like crazy. It provides information on set-aside spend. It gives vendor count by agency. It gives vendor count by socioeconomic status, NAICS code. It provides vendor information by geographical area, as well as funding levels for various offices and vendors throughout the federal government. If you get a chance, take a look at it. It's a great tool to support your market research efforts. The GSA GWAC dashboard. It gives analytics on GSA 8A stars, Alliant, and VETS in the VETS contract. You can obtain the spending levels for vendors along these different contracts. You can see which agencies are spending or buying off these contracts. It's really a great tool for you to use. And again, the agency budget requests, if you have not had an opportunity to look at a budget request, I advise you to do so. You will glean a lot of good information regarding what the agency plans are, what have been some of their challenges, what have been some of their successes, what are their goals in the coming year. You really get a good understanding of the agency's mission from these budgets in brief. You get a sense of where they're planning to spend their money, agency initiative programs, and other very good information. It's my go-to for gaining an understanding of an agency. And so back to our project here. So I was able to pull reports from USA Spin regarding our 8A SDVOSB company who provides financial management and admin support service. So we pull the expiring contracts from USA Spin. As you can see, you may not be able to see it here, but I wanted to see, I wanted to get a view into all of the financial management expiring contract as of 12/31/2025. And I only wanted to see 8A and SDVOSB contracts. And I just closed my eyes and picked one of the agency, and that happened to be the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So I wanted to see what kind of contract opportunities would be viable to help populate this particular company's pipeline. And again, I use PSC codes. For financial management, it is R710, and for admin support, it is R607. So I use those PSC codes to run this query. And so here, just super 5-10 minutes, able to go to HUD's procurement forecast. And again, remember, we are financial management and admin support services company. I wanted to see the 8A contracts from HUD. And so at the top of this list is a financial improvement support services contract. They give you the current contract number. It's with Jenny May. It's a competitive 8A, 10 million to 50 million. They give you the director of that particular office. They let you know when the RFP was released, when it was to be awarded. They also give you some more information. I just couldn't get it all on this page, but we were in 5 minutes, we were able to query and come away with 5 different opportunities relative to this scenario that we could follow up on. This was from HUD's procurement forecast. But more importantly, we wanted to also, from the USA Spin, I hope you all can see this pretty good. This is a list of expiring contracts based on our search criteria that are coming for expiration in 2024. As you can see, you have the award ID for these contracts, you have the obligated amount, as well as the potential value. The potential value of the award include all option years. The obligated amount is the amount that has been literally obligated to the contract. That's the viable amount of award that the contractor can use in support of the program. So as you can see, you have the contractor name, you have the sub-agency here, CDC, Army, Office of the Chief Financial Officer, and look, there go Department of Housing and Urban Development, a financial support services contract, $1.5 million. So just through 5 minutes, a quick query, we were able to find a list of financial management and admin support contracts. And as mentioned, hopefully you can see this. We also went to the HUD's budget request for 2024. As you can see, just wanted to pull this information. Within HUD's OIG office, they plan to recompete their financial audit contract as one unified procurement during 2023, with the winning bidder performing the 2024 financial audit statement. So if I'm reading this, I'm on the lookout in USA Spin to identify who that awarding contractor is. And if I specialize in financial management, this is an opportunity for me to reach out with viable information regarding this particular opportunity. On the other hand, we're looking at Jenny May and see that they are planning to expand its services through new service lines, scanning and digital archiving service. So if I'm an admin support company, this falls within my capabilities, and now I have a reason to contact this agency to gain more information about what they are planning to do, give them specific content around my service capabilities and the scanning digital archiving capability. And so that's how you that's how you use the budget request. And again, this was 10 minutes of research here. And again, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to provide you with information on how I approach market research in the federal contract and procurement arena. I will stop sharing my screen and turn it back over to you, Marie.
Thank you, Susie. Thank you so much. Oop, we have some feedback there. Thank you so much for that presentation. Was very, very insightful and illuminating, you know, all of the different nuances that you take that a lot of GovCon companies overlook. You know, that's something really super important for the people who are listening here today to really kind of take note of, are the different venues and the different strategies and the different places that they need to go to in order to find out who's buying what, right? I mean, that is super, super critical. I can't thank you enough for sharing those insights, and I call them pearls or golden nuggets with the community. And so we received a few questions from that community, and I just kind of want to ask to ask on their behalf to gain additional insights from you. With regards to identifying, how do you go about identifying mentors for 8A and the best places to reach out to primes?
Yeah, so identifying mentors is an interesting question. I've had 2 mentor-protege agreements during my time as a government contractor. And what I have found that the best mentor is one that have the willingness and the bandwidth to provide assistance to your company. And generally speaking, that mentor comes from having a working relationship with you. Again, the mentor protege program is number one, with a focus on providing technical assistance to your company. And so you, in my opinion, you want to have a company that is familiar and have the willingness to work with your company. And that tends to only come from a company that have worked with you in the past.
Mm-hmm. Great. Okay. And then I'm just starting out and I don't have any references for previous contract work. Right? Mm-hmm. And this company runs a technology and professional services staffing firm. What's the best way for them to get started with regards to market analysis and kind of just scoping everything else? Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're starting out, we all have been there. When I first started, I didn't have government contracting experience. So what we did was use our personal experience that we had gained through working with other companies. If that company has gained experience from an employer, as well as experience that they have acquired through their existing business, leverage that experience. We all have to start somewhere. Look to work with look to work as a subcontractor with prime contractors that may be able to take advantage of your personal skills and begin to grow from there.
Okay, great. Great. What are some of the best places to start contract pursuits? And we already spoke about, they also asked about mentors. That's a hot topic, I guess. So let's just, what are some of the best places to start contract pursuits? Again, thinking about, hey, I've just been starting out. I'm sure is a little bit different than I've been in the commercial sector for a while, and now I kind of want to go after some GovCon contracts.
Right. I don't believe there's a best place per se, but most businesses new to government contracting start as a subcontractor. They gain some experience and then they start pursuing prime contractors. Developing mentor relationships should be a result of working with a larger firm that understands your business and have the capacity and again the willingness to assist you. ISO and CMMI ratings or certifications are important. They're not they're not absolutely necessary for you to get started in federal contracting, but as you grow your business, they become more important as you go after prime contract. GovCons, it demonstrates that your organization has a commitment to quality and the adherence to formal processes.
Okay. And again, the common theme of how to be successful in acquiring teaming partners and subcontracting, opportunities. We know that there's no one-stop shop, right? To go ahead and say, hey, here I am, I'm your partner here. But you have mentioned the dynamic small business search, right? The DSBS.
Right.
What are your thoughts around utilizing the DSBS to find a potential small business teaming partner? Have you ever done that before, or?
Yeah, I've used the dynamic small business search to identify companies, but the best way to identify potential partners is through networking. Networking within the space where you are most interested in growing your company. For example, if you are in healthcare, there are organizations that, meet regularly. The vendor community frequently attend networking events. Get out there, meet these partners, share with them, your capabilities and what you have done. And I found that to be a highly effective way of developing relationships and that leads to partnerships in the government space.
I'm gonna call out the Vets 24 conference, right? That's coming up, right? A perfect place to go ahead and be able to meet people and kind of pulse the industry that they're in and glean information that way. If you're new to the GovCon, where do you recommend starting? Some people talk about, P card acquisitions, or do I just go for the simplified acquisition, or do I go full bore for that huge multi-million-dollar RFP that's out there? Or, you hear everything, right? What have you found?
This is a very interesting question, and I think it's a very timely one because I have a few clients that really work the purchase card and simplified acquisition. And the way I have seen them construct their deals for this is by creating packages of service offering that fits within that, within those acquisition thresholds, so that a government purchase card holder can just swipe their card and obtain the service, or they can leverage the simplified acquisition program to acquire their service very streamlined and very efficient. So but in my opinion, those approaches require a go-to-market, strategy. You are marketing directly to the agency, to the customer, and that's that's the way that I have seen customers that I work with effectively use those tools.
And they still would have to do the research that you described earlier, right? I mean, they'd have to know what's the volume that they're doing. They're utilizing, the card as opposed to, streamlined acquisitions to the RFPs. So they still have to do their homework on all of that.
It's a must. I mean, long gone are the days when you can just, and I don't think there were ever days like this, just run out there and try to win a contract because you see it coming off of sam.gov. There has to be. The market is way too competitive. The vendor pool is much too sophisticated, and the client is much too sophisticated, and you have to have an understanding of where your client, your market is going to be effective in winning contracts these days.
It's still about the relationships. It's still about knowing about the agency and knowing whether or not you're a fit in that agency. And that all takes homework, and that all takes the networking and targeting a particular group. So it's kind of the old adage, you can't be everything to everyone, right? You have to really kind of go in with a focused view.
People buy from those they know, trust, and believe in. So,
right. Yep. I agree. I again cannot thank you enough for your time and the insightfulness of the presentation. It has really been a wealth of knowledge. And I know everybody who's going to be viewing this is going to be rewinding and going back, and saying, what's that slide? Where did QC talk about this? So I want to thank you again, and I want to thank our sponsors, BAE and Bank of America as well, and to everyone who's watching. So if you have any questions, please email at contact@nvsbc.org. Again, that's contact, CONTACT, at nvsbc.org. And join us for future training events. You can always email with suggestions on different topics. I look forward to seeing everybody at Vets 24. I will be there at the Vets 24. And so I'm gonna cut us off here. And until next time, I look forward to future trainings.
Thank you so much. Have a great one.